Well, good morning, everybody. We are still awaiting the arrival of a few people, but we will start now. There's been a bit of a rail problem in the far north of England, apparently, so a few people will be joining us later in the day. But anyway, may I welcome you all to the first convention and show of Pronovias of Barcelona. I had the pleasure of meeting most of you in your own shops throughout the country. Unfortunately, no one else here has met you all, and so I'm pleased if you wear your badges during the day so that we can really identify who everybody is. I hope during the day, in addition to meeting the Spanish people that are here, you will also meet each other and be able to discuss the trade generally over lunch and so on. I'd just briefly like to run through the agenda of the day, which you'll find in the white folders. During the morning, we'll hear from Alberto Palatchi, on my left, about the development of Pronovias and his approach to the UK market. I will update you on the failed attempt by Pronovias de Paris to block our launch here in the UK. We had a dispute in the courts in London about 2 weeks ago, and I'll be covering that for you so you understand the details. And also the advertising plan for the UK and our marketing intentions. We'll then break for drinks and lunch and return here for the presentation of the range. The room will be rearranged during lunchtime, so we'll be having a catwalk through the centre here. Now, if we just look briefly through our papers, the first sheet gives you an overview of the collection, breaking it down by materials, trains, the sleeve lengths and the price ranges. The next page gives you a rather over-precise size comparison chart. It was sort of done by computer, so sorry about that. The next page deals with delivery details, but I will cover that more fully later on in the day. Then you'll find details of the wholesale and retail prices. The following sheet is for your notes during the presentation of the range. You can use it however you wish. It's a sort of score sheet that you can just keep a track of what you've seen. You'll see there that there are marks, and those marks indicate the dresses which will be featured in the UK brochure. We can't show you the brochure today because the artwork is still being prepared in Spain, but you'll be able to see the dresses and know which ones are those. The following pink sheet is for those of you who wish to order. Hopefully there'll be a big demand for those. And this again shows the models which are required to be initially stocked and which will be delivered in January. The next sheet is for the orders of marketing materials. As we've explained in recent correspondence to you, we do need to have the print order for the brochures and so on to be printed, so we need you to identify how many of those you'll require. The two pink sheets near the end are the finalised version of the trading terms. We've updated it in terms of clarifying things once or twice during my trip round the UK. There's nothing really very major there, but if you find a chance to glance through that through the day, just to be clear. And finally, there's a note of the other retailers who are nearest to your individual shop. There is a map out in the front of the front desk outside where you'll see little dots stuck for the dealers that are attending. This, of course, doesn't imply in any way that necessarily the dealers that are here will choose to stock the range, nor, on the other hand, that there are dealers who we may appoint later on in the year to fill up gaps where they occur. It's really just simply so that you know who you might meet here during the day. Well, I'll see you a bit later, but now I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Alberto Palatchi, who's going to talk to us about Pronovias. He is the chairman and managing director of the company. Ah, I did that. You knew I was going to do that.
Sorry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I welcome you all in the name of my company and mine to our first national convention in the United Kingdom. I'd like to tell you that I have known your country since I was 8 years old. I have always felt a great admiration and respect for your personality, for your way of life, for your institutions. I really can say that I really love your country. Personally, for me, it is going to be an honor today to have the opportunity to meet the most successful and distinguished bridal wear specialists in this country. Most of you pioneers in this exciting field, maybe one of the most competitive in the trade. My presentation will take about 40 minutes of your time, where I will have the opportunity to brief you about the background of my company, about its marketing strategy, about its philosophy, and about our short and long-term plans in this country. May I apologize for my English? I've lost a little bit of my English in the last times. May I begin with a brief history of our company. My family has a long bridal tradition. My father started in 1922 in the bridal business. He started as an importer of embroidered materials for the bride from Switzerland and laces from France in Calais. His original company name was El Suizo, which means the Swiss. Now, in this time in Spain, bridal wear manufacturers were practically inexisting. The birth, as you know very well, the birth of the Rachel machine, which is a textile machine that makes low-cost lace, made the possibility to make bridal dresses manufactured finally affordable to all classes. Now, this machine appeared in the late 50s, and this, in a certain way, was the beginning of the manufacturing bridal industry in all Europe. Now, in these times when the bridal manufacturing industry appeared, the bridal specialized shops were practically inexisting. My father founded St. Patrick S.A. as a manufacturing bridal company to enter this brand new market in the mid-60s. I had the opportunity to join the company as a director in 1968. Now, the bridal wear revolution, the bridal wear birth, manufactured dresses, had given birth to many manufacturing companies in my country. The marketing of these dresses was done in the beginning practically in non-specialized shops. Then the number of shops non-specialized retailing grew very quickly until a number of nearly 2,000 in all Spain. Now, the market became very soon saturated and with so much specialized shops. So we quite understood very quickly that the future of brides retail was in the specialist shops. That was very clear, with exclusive ranges, first-class specialized management, and a powerful advertising plan. Now, with this idea in mind, we launched Pronovias in 1969. We promoted the opening of the first 20 specialized shops in our country on the basis of exclusive concessions. The three basic assets of these shops were specialization, exclusivity, and national and local advertising. And I would also say a lot of enthusiasm. The idea was very basic, but it really worked out. The first Pronovias concessionaire shops earned very quickly the major market share of every city. Pronovias became the market leader nearly in just 1 year, in its first year. Now, until 1974, since we launched Pronovias, that was 1969, until 1974, every year we increased our number of exclusive concessionaires who were opening new shops, and we then arrived at a market share at a national coverage of the territory of a 75%, not a market share, but a national coverage. Now, in 1975, our company entered into a new experience, retailing. We created then 3 companies to open a limited number of retail networks of 16 owned shops in the country, to cover the rest of the territory. We had no previous experience in the management of retail networks. Now, initially the 16 shops began to operate as independently as any other concessionaire shop. there was not much flow of information and know-how transfer between one shop and another. Research and development of new ideas and systems was very low. As a result of all that, all our shops were doing the same mistakes. No one was learning nothing from the others. Our competitive assets were as limited as the assets of our competitors. We then realized that the fast evolution of the bridal wear business was entering in its third period. As we understood, the first period began with the start of the manufacturing companies, and it finished with the market saturated of non-specialized shops. The second period began with the first specialized shops that earned the market of the non-specialized. But finally, the market became saturated of specialized shops. Now, we understood that the third period, which would be the most competitive one, was beginning the era of the specialized networks. We understood that they would slowly and progressively take the market to the specialized independent shops. It was 1978, and we had to run fast to acquire an expertise we didn't have in the management of our own retail network. We bought this expertise to one of the leading American retail consultant companies, and we worked with them for about 1 year. The results were really incredible. A new stock management system increased our sales dramatically, increased the quality of attraction of our stock, and reduced to less than a 2% the unsold products at the end of the season. On top of that, this tiny 2% of stocks at the end of the season were formed basically by bestsellers, by the best-selling dresses. The overall management systems of the shops were changed. Different marketing tests were experienced in every shop. Those who proved positive were transferred to other shops. The image of the shops was accurately analyzed, and the new unified decoration project implemented. And also our advertising strategy, our merchandising, and the training of our personnel, and so on. Our sales in the 16 shops raised as much. It was a real phenomenon. This time it looks quite incredible how with just adapting new management techniques, the records of the business can be changed, but it really was incredible to us, but it really worked. And our sales increased in the same proportion than the sales of our competitors decreased. And the idea of a network, then we understood, we realized, operating as a network, not just like a large list of shops, was working with full success. Then the marriages began to drop in Spain at a rate of about 5% every year. At the same times, with a market who was decreasing by 5% every year, it was in 1975, we had 270,000 marriages. We then descended until 185,000 about 1 year ago. And with this decreasing every year of the ceiling of the market, we increased our sales every year at a rate than at 10% in our shops. So that was really a phenomenon for us. In certain cities, we really achieved the biggest market share that can be achieved in any city. Many competitor shops had to close in the last years. Now, that was really successful. But this was an experience that we made in our own shops. When we finished all this transformation, we then realized that in this same period, our network of exclusive concessionaires was hardly maintaining their sales record. Now, their problem was that they were operating as independently, not as independent, but with the same competitive assets than their competitors. They were not competing with something else. That's why they were flowing at the same rate than their competitors. They were not winning, they were all going in the same rate. Now, we then designed a medium-term project for our concessionaires. The philosophy of the project was to transfer all the know-how that we have that we have bought or acquired and to transfer it to them, but without jeopardizing a bit of their independence. That was a major point on this project. Now, the 4 points to be implemented were basically the following. First, a very substantial marketing and advertising strategy coordinating national and local advertising. The transfer of our own retail experiences and technology. A full stock management program coordinated with our buffer stock in Barcelona, and a new decoration project and facilities to refit every concessionaire shop to the new corporate image. Now, all our concessionaires accepted to enter in this new project. As a result of that, Pronovias became the first bridal company in Spain to advertise in national television. National television in Spain there are just 2 chains. It's really something absolutely very expensive, and we became the first company to advertise in a very big campaign in television. We also did 3,500 billboards in the first year, billboards like this one in all the streets of the major cities where were the shops. We put the stock management program that increased very sharply their sales. How can just a stock management program increase the sales? Well, I could not have believed it, but I have seen it before, how it can be done. And it made decrease their unsold products at the end of the season. We trained more than 160 sales staff at the company cost. 80% of the shops, our exclusive concessionaire shops, have already been refitted to the corporate image. Now, no royalties have never been asked. It's out of our philosophy. Profit retail margins have not only not been reduced, but have been increased. Our concessionaires have not lost a bit of their independence, but have earned all the positive aspects of an interdependent, coordinated network. Their rate of sales is now the same rate of increased sales than those of our shops, and thus is making a real revolution now in the Spanish bridal market. Now, we are proud to have achieved all that, together with having become the most profitable concession in our country. Our concessionaires are very successful, and we are very satisfied that they are every day happier being with us. Now, other activities of our company are manufacturing and marketing communion dresses, civil wedding dresses, cocktail dresses, page girl dresses, and many accessories like can-cans, veils, etc. Now, we also negotiate with different manufacturers national exclusivities with our trademark to be sold in the network in ranges like lingerie for the bride, headpieces, shoes, corsettery, gloves, and the last list of etc. Now, in Spain, our season ranges include more than 1,000 different articles in about 27 different ranges to be sold exclusively in the network. Now, my company also provides full management consultancy for the new concessionaires that join the network. This consultancy goes from the site selection of the shop, financial and economic surveys in every case, shop decoration project, training of managers and sales staff at no charge, and many other points. Now, we are retailers and we are franchisors, but we are also manufacturers. That is why we do not need royalties. We can give much more service than anybody at no cost, because we are manufacturers. Now we have just begun in Spain the training of 8 new concessionaires. In Holland, 27 new concessionaires are beginning now in this next spring. Well, this has been the brief history of my company. Has not been so brief, but I had to outline some of the relevant aspects of many years in the trade. Now, I'd like to present you now how we see the Spanish bridal wear market and its parallel aspects with the British bridal market. Now, I'd like to begin telling you that we are very well aware of the different background between the United Kingdom and Spain. However, it is surprisingly amazing that bridal business particularities and evolution are so similar in every country. If that is so, if many parallel aspects exist between one country and another, we could then use a certain part of our background here. Now, which are these common aspects? Well, in Spain, like in the United Kingdom, the evolution of the market has roughly been the same. There was a first period when the manufacturers began, the non-specialized shops began to sell bridal dresses. There was a second period too, when the specialized shop took a very substantial part of the market. And there has been a third part where the networks have begun to take market to the specialized shops. In Spain, it has roughly been the same. In the United Kingdom, like in Spain, exclusivity is maybe one of the most substantial parts of the personality of a bridal shop. And when I say exclusivity, well, I really mean exclusivity. And I understand by exclusivity, exclusive designs manufactured in exclusive materials that can only be found in one shop in a very big area of exclusivity. In Spain, exclusivity is also one of the biggest assets of one bridal shop. Now, in the United Kingdom, like in Spain, also bridal business is a golden business, but as any golden business, competition is extremely high. All markets are saturated. Too much shops for so few marriages is a common sentence in every country. Now, as you know very well, the market is limited by the number of marriages, so there is a ceiling, and we cannot go over this ceiling. 400,000 in the UK. The only way to increase sales is winning to competition. It's a unique way to increase sales. In our both countries, marketing strategies are aimed at competing as the only way to sell more in a limited market. There is no other way. Now, this is also similar in our both countries. Now, in Spain, like in the United Kingdom, advertising is the key. Now, coordinating national advertising and local advertising action can only be done through a network, and it's much stronger and much cheaper too. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about the stock problem. In Spain, a shop that carries a season range of, let's say, 30 new styles will finally make 2/3 of its sales with the 10 best sellers, with 10 dresses. And even if they have more than 30 dresses, they will always make a very big part of their sales with very few models. But normally, the problem in Spain is that the big part of the stock is held in the non-best-selling dresses. So the dresses that are selling more, they're normally out of stock. And the other dresses that we are not selling so well are those with which we have a full stock. Now, a low stock of best sellers and a higher stock of worst sellers causes the effect of reducing sales and increasing, as you know very well, and increasing the unsold products at the end of the season. And it reduces sales because if our best horses are out of stock and they are not running, they cannot win. Now, this is the case in Spain. We just have talked about 10 or 12 persons about this, and it's likely the same problem in the United Kingdom. So the major part of the sales are finally done with very few models, while the rest of the models are the worst sellers. But we normally have more stock of the worst sellers than of the best sellers. Now, this stock problem in Spain causes the problem to jeopardize the cash flow of the shop and reduce the attraction of its range, who becomes older every season. That is the case in Spain in certain shops. I would say in almost all the shops that are not Pronovias. maybe that's also the case here in some shops. Now, as a result of the survey that we thank you very much that we have received from you all concerning the best-selling dresses, we have known that in the United Kingdom, like in Spain, the materials of the dresses, of the best-selling dresses, are in the same order. So, the material, the number one bestseller material last summer has been tulle. Number two has been lace. Number three has been taffeta. That is exactly the same in Spain. That's amazing. Now, according to that same survey, the best-selling styles range from, let's say, 130 to 230. That is the basic range where the biggest part of the sales are done. In Spain, it's slightly lower because of the provision of VAT, but we are under the same prices range. Now, always according with that survey, the trains proportion is likely the same. But what we have learned with your surveys, 2/3 of the dresses are sold without train in the UK, and 1/3 with train. I'm talking about 45 surveys received. Now, I presume I could continue with a long list of parallel aspects, but in this case, there are much more parallel aspects and also difference, but many parallel aspects. In this case, quite a substantial part of our background could be used in this country, while my company would be learning a lot from you all. So I think it's a point where we all can win. Maybe it is in the mind of many persons who make us the honor to come here today that it's not the same to deal with a foreign company than to deal with a national company. Well, it's not the same. But in our case, I would like to assure you that geographical distance is more psychological than nothing else. We have founded in the United Kingdom our own UK subsidiary. It's called Chatrex, and all its directors and staff are British. We are telex. We have connection by telex, and we will soon in January be connected by computer. Now, I would say that the big corporations have many years ago began to deal in many countries at the same time. I think it's now time for us, the medium or small companies, to get used to cross the psychological borders of distance and take advantage of the international business opportunities. Now, I would like to present you now, which is our analysis of the British bridal market and its competition factors. And I would like to say, before starting this eventually controversial point, that this responds to our own analysis. And it's a limited analysis, but it's response to our personal view. Now, we'll begin with the less controversial point, the bride. We see United Kingdom as the most sane country in Europe bridal market. Here, for a bride to wear a long white dress is a must. Tradition at its best, as usual in this marvelous country. There is no problem in the bride. Now, the national networks. There are a few national networks specialized in bridal dresses. Only one of them is fully specialized in the bride. I'm talking about the market leader. In the last few years, Pronovias de Paris, a respectable company with a very good marketing in this country, has made a revolution in the United Kingdom. With sales of £7,600,000 in 1982 and the projection of £8,700,000 in 1983, they account for a market share of 20 to 25%. Pronovias has tripled its sales in the last 4 years, while the number of marriages has not slightly changed. And this, of course, has created a substantial loss of market to many retailers and consequently manufacturers. The manufacturers. We are well aware that in this country there are many and very good bridal manufacturers. The ranges are good in design, quality, and price. And I'm not just saying it to be polite, it's real. It's really. That's how we see it. They are also very good providing excellent service. Very good service to deliver that special dress in that special date. They really strive for excellence in that. But their sales in units of some of them have decreased because the market share of their customers has decreased as an effect of the growth of Pronovias. I'm talking about some cases. Now, to cover this substantial home lost market, in some cases, some manufacturers have opened new accounts to keep their sales level in the same level. In these cases, opening new accounts has reduced the existing areas of exclusivity while creating more competitiveness in the market. Now, finally, we arrive to the retail market where the real competition is being played. Not many shops we visited said that they were actually selling as much dresses as 3 years ago. Some shops now try very hard to keep their sales in unit in a battle of forces where really the balance, in a battle where the balance of forces is not in their favor. It looks like if the national networks and its leaders have more assets to compete. But we ask, which are these assets that the national networks have to compete? Do they have better dresses, or better prices, or better located shops, or better quality? Or is the image of their shops so fantastic? Do they have more experience? Well, it would not be correct of me to answer these questions. But I would say that their asset, their basic asset, is corporate marketing. That's the really big asset they do have. And maybe the lack of existence of another fully specialized network. Now, in free trade, fair competition is mostly welcome and even highly recommended. But how can one shop fight against a corporate marketing of 80 shops? It is not possible. Or it's very difficult, extremely difficult. Mr. Wilkes had the opportunity to visit you all separately. He could easily appreciate the great flows and initiatives that could not have been implemented so far because of the lack of a sponsored network. We sincerely think that this personal view responds likely to the actual momentum of the British market. And according to this, we feel that there is a place for Pronovias of Barcelona in this country, and we are well ready to fulfill it. Planning the introduction of Pronovias of Barcelona in the United Kingdom. I met Mr. Wilkes about 2 years ago in the occasion of franchising consultancy project in Spain. About 1 year ago, we began to prepare the project of coming to the United Kingdom. The project began to be fully implemented early last August with an exhausting traveling program throughout the country that just ended last week. Of course, we could not have, as our strategy since the beginning was exclusivity, we could not have done this in another way because we could not have gone to a Harrogate or to a fair. We had to visit all of you and this was about 3 months. It began in August, it finished just 1 week ago. Now, our initial goal was very difficult and it has been achieved. It was to set up the beginning of our exclusive dealers networks in the country among the best shops in every city, which would be the cream of the shops in every city, and to have the opportunity to have a first convention where we could all be sitting and explain you our plans. Now, this is Act 1. We are all here, and it has been achieved. Now begins Act 2, which are our short and long-term plans in this country. We have just met. You've seen maybe Mr. Wilkes for 3 hours, 1 month ago maybe. We've just met with me about 3 minutes ago. And 1984 will be the first year dealing with you if you decide to accept our invitation. We understand very well that you have to begin testing our products, our quality, our prices, our ranges, our service, and that we have to succeed making you liking us. And that's maybe the basic point that we look for the first year. Because this has to be what has to create the proper atmosphere of confidence and union that has to be the base of every joint venture we do in the future. Now, apart of that, we wish to provide you, your shops, with our exclusive ranges and a substantial national advertising. All business generated by Pronovias will pass exclusively through our exclusive dealers. That means that if the estimated sales of all of the persons attending, of the persons representing business in this room now, estimated are in 25,000 dresses, we're not aiming to take the biggest part of share of these dresses. Our strategy will aim to increase the overall sales of all the network to X thousand dresses more. And then, if we then make more than a 20% proportion of your sales, it is going to be because our dresses have deserved it, because the brides have chosen them, not because of further pressure. Now, in conclusion, our plans for 1984 are let you test us and succeed in liking you, and we succeeding in you liking us, excuse me. Feel the first effects of our way of advertising, test our products' quality, design, prices, service, create the proper atmosphere that we need to begin to make really big things from 1985. And that is basically our plan for next year. Now, which are our medium-term plans? Let's understand by medium term what's from 1985, 1986. Now, for these years, we are going to increase in a very substantial basis our advertising presence. We are going to begin local marketing and advertising strategy, coordinating it with national advertising under demand. If you want, we'll study it together and we'll do our first 100% tests in some shops. We will begin holding our first regional marketing congresses with exclusive dealers. We will increase the inter-dealer communication, and we will increase our ranges with other exclusive products in the bridal context. Now, our long-term plans include the setting in the future of one Pronovias of Barcelona shop somewhere in the country, out of any area of exclusivity, to be the test shop, the laboratory, the shop that has to try everything, that our competing laboratory that has to try every management improvement or any management idea that has to be proven there, that we want to make it proved before we offer it to you. I'm talking about one shop, and it's extremely important for us to be present directly in the problems every day of the shops, to understand which are the real problems and how we can help better. We will provide, without any obligation to accept, a full project of decoration with eventual financial facilities under demand to refit all shops desired to the new corporate image that has to be the best shop image in the country. We will then enter in full marketing and advertising in the mass media with the best advertising companies in the country, and not only in the specialized media, but in the national mass media too. We will implement our full stock management program with stock buffer in the United Kingdom, and research and development of any service to improve every aspect of the business to keep it up to date. Now, we would like to insist that all this, that I'm sorry to have explained in my poor English, can be achieved without jeopardizing the independence of every exclusive concessionaire as an independent businessman, business lady, or business company. As a statement of policy, my company has proved in the past and will prove in the future that the key of success is the independence in the initiative and creativity. And to always respect it is going to be our policy here and everywhere. Now, let me talk you about, briefly about the product range, our dresses. Let's talk a little bit about fashion. Bridal wear fashion is beginning to get every day more international. That means that the trends are every time more international. Some countries are influencing every time more other countries. Who sets the trend? We understand that now, basically the trend is set by one country, who is Italy, and a couple who's got an incredible talent for fashion, who are the Emanuels. A country and a couple are, as we understand, creating, influencing with their collections the whole trade. Now, most of our dresses are designed in Italy by the top bridal designer, who is Francesco Arena. His designs are adapted by our own design department, which receives every information needed up to date. Our patterns and production is the result of many years of experience. Our materials are mostly exclusive. The bride will not find the same materials in other dresses, in other shops, in 90% of the cases. And in what concerns prices, I would say that Spain is the European Taiwan. Workforce is inexpensive, abundant, and good. Our currency is extremely low and will be likely lower in the future. Export facilities apart are great. are great. Now, I think that we all, you, the bride, us, can take advantage of all of it now and more when Spain joins the European community. Now, it is not our policy to sell the cheapest dresses in the market. It's out of our policy completely. Our price range will be likely more or less like the others. We'll start at £99, we'll finish at £349, but our real range is 129, 239, which is the normal prices of the market, more or less. Our policy is not to down the prices of the market. Our policy is by the normal price of the market to give more than the others are giving. I'm just not saying more material, I'm saying more design, more fashion. Let me talk to you now briefly about the marketing network. 45 bridal wear specialists or companies in this country are now in this room. They represent 25,000 bridal dresses sold every year approximately. But the areas of coverage account for about 80% of the territory, of the main population areas. Now, the persons that after seeing the range, its designs, quality and price, will accept our invitation, will become the pioneers of Pronovias of Barcelona in this country. Our definitive network will not exceed by much 60 dealers in the whole country to enable big areas of exclusivity. We think this is a fair proposition. We just want to get all that business done through very few shops in the country. And we think this is really fair. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have made us the honor to coming to London for our first national convention in the United Kingdom. My company has proved in the past and will prove in the future not only to be young and dynamic, but also to be fair, serious, and consistent. We sincerely feel that today in this room are all the necessary ingredients to create, to achieve what can be the beginning of the major bridal wear network of independent dealers in this country. But we know that we aim quite high. But if we succeed to convince you today, now, that all this can be achieved with the enthusiasm of all of us, but also with our background of all of us, we will have created what can be the birth of a new star. We do accept the challenge, and my company and all its members wish this to be the start of a new and prosperous relation with all of you. And me personally, I would like to deserve to be considered by all of us, or by all of you, as a gentleman in business and also as a friend. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Alberto has given you the background and the intentions for the UK. My job is now just to clarify all sorts of things, results of the questions we asked you on the questionnaire that we gave out, and some other matters. But I would firstly like to clarify the legal position between ourselves and Pronuptia di Pari. Pronuptia raised objection to our planned entry into the UK on the grounds that the two trade names were similar and might lead to passing off and confusion. I'd like to make it quite clear that Pronovias of Barcelona is our own trade mark, and we have no connection with Pronuptia di Pari whatsoever. We're developing Pronovias of Barcelona as a major international trade name, and there are considerable benefits in manufacturing and marketing in the UK, or manufacturing in Spain, marketing in the UK under this name rather than any other. We accordingly offered, prior to any court action, 3 undertakings to Pronuptia. Firstly, that we would not knowingly approach any of their dealers. We have no interest in attempting to steal their franchisees. Secondly, that we would not use our hearts and doves devices, which we do use or have used so far in Spain. You'll notice that we've blocked them out of the signs here, and that brings us on to the third undertaking, was that we would add the words of Barcelona at the end of our name, so that we would hopefully be known in full as Pronovias of Barcelona. This offer was rejected, and on the 7th of November a court action was heard in the Royal Courts of Justice in the Strand. Pronuptia were seeking an immediate injunction to stop the launch of wedding gowns under the Pronovias brand. Judgment was given the day after, on the 8th of November, in favour of ourselves, on the grounds that our losses would be considerable and unquantifiable if the injunction requested was granted. We offered to the court the same 3 undertakings previously offered to Pronuptia, and these now form part of the judgment. Pronuptia have not appealed to the courts against the decision, but they can, if they wish, still proceed to a full trial of the issue in due course. Our legal and trademark advisors are confident of our continued success. We can only await developments. We cannot predict what their feelings about the matter is now. In the meantime, we wish you and your staff to be quite clear that there is no connection between the two companies, and if there's any reason to suspect an intending purchaser may be suffering from confusion, do please state that it is Pronovias of Barcelona. If any of you receive any communications from Pronuptia or their legal advisors, do please let us know at once so that we can deal with it. In any event, we are going to take steps to ensure that through our marketing in the UK, brides can actually pronounce our name properly and tell the difference between the two companies. We really don't think there should be any need for any confusion. We will write to you all shortly and confirm these details in writing, so you've got a complete, clear definition of the situation. I'd now like to move on to the survey which we asked you to send back, and again thank you. I think sort of 95% of dealers have sent them back to us, and that's been most helpful. The first point really is the UK brochures. They will show recommended retail prices including VAT, and they will show a full list of dealers on the final page. Our UK magazine advertising will likewise show prices and a full list of dealers in every case. Packing, I mean obviously we can deal with individual dress orders, and I've spoken to you all about that individually, but normal packing where possible will be in outer boxes of 5 or 15 dresses, and each individual dress will be in a high quality zipper bag, and I can show you roughly what it's going to look like here. This isn't completed yet. This is the reverse of the bag. The front will have logos down the side and a clear panel in the middle with a zipper along the side. Oh yes, and Alberto's reminding me, although I've mentioned it to you all before, a hole at the bottom so that the dress can be folded in half by the girl and taken away. Let me get rid of this. There's a new fashion in England now. They're taking bags like this and cutting holes in them, and you wear them. So I could have done that. The first 15 dresses will all be in size 12. This was a majority view. We had several dealers who said they would prefer to have dresses half in one size, half in another, but we've had to make a decision about this, and the majority preferred that they should all be size 12. They will be delivered during the first 2 weeks of January, and these are of course the dresses that will be featured in the brochure and in the marketing, and you'll be able to pick them out later on in the day. The photographs and albums will arrive at approximately the same time, but they will be packed separately. We've just mentioned the delivery of the first 15 dresses. The balance will be delivered in February and March, and in your folders are details of which models are for delivery in February and which for March. This may assist you in selecting which dresses you wish to order. We asked also about areas of advertising and promotion that you would like us to be involved with in addition to Bride's magazine. And it would appear that really most popular would be assistance in local advertising in the form of artwork, photographs, and PR releases and so on. We're accordingly examining this area now, and again I'll write to you shortly with the conclusions of our studies. Continuing with advertising, as you know, our magazine advertising starts with Bride's magazine in the March edition. For this edition, we have increased our booked space to 7 pages, which will be 2 black and white and 5 colour pages, and we have reserved a double page in all the remaining issues in 1984. In all issues, our dealers will be listed, as I've said, and a coupon will be there for the reader to send off for a brochure. We'll process this in High Wycombe and send the coupons to the appropriate area. In future seasons, we will be making a major promotion with billboards. The ones you see on the walls here, of course, are from the last season in Spain. Several dealers have expressed reservations about billboards and how they can be used. And we would suggest that, I mean, we have them available, it's on our trading terms, and we will gladly supply them, but I have the impression many dealers won't take them up at this stage. We're hoping we can work perhaps with a limited number of dealers, try this out, and really have a major campaign ready for a following season. I'd now just like to say a few words about the balance of your stock in regard to the advertising that we'll be doing, and also the fact that, of course, we have 2 distinct collections a year. Alberto explained, well, he didn't explain the details of it, but he mentioned that there was this quite complex stock management system in Spain. It's recognized as one of the most successful in the world, and it was developed with the aid of our dealers over a 5-year period. There is no way in which we can introduce such a system into the UK, and in any event, we don't feel that the dealers would welcome this at this stage. You just want to get used to our dresses and see the public reaction to them. We would, however, just like to make a few recommendations. We would suggest initially that you stock a fairly wide range of the dresses, and the dresses you're not stocking, of course, you'll have photographs of, and we would suggest you show these to the bride as well. We have backup stock in Barcelona, as you know, which will ensure rapid delivery of dresses that you don't have in stock. Each month you'll receive information which will help you with regard to the best sellers. We will be analysing the repeat orders from all dealers. We would suggest you consult that together with information from your own shop and together with information about which dresses will be advertised, which we will supply to you. Obviously reorder then for stock, but only order the best 12 dresses after the 31st of March. Only order the best 10 dresses after the 30th of April, and only reorder the best 8 selling dresses after the 31st of May. In June and July, you will be advised to clear even your stock of bestsellers because you will be beginning to take stock of the new winter collection. I know that reducing the stock in that way sounds very simple and too good to be true and not so easy to actually implement, and it may well cut across some dealers' traditional policy of only selling a design once or twice. We can only ask you to try this policy and see the result. We are confident that this system will lead you to results similar to that which we've achieved in Spain. Finally, I just want to assure you of our very best endeavours in the UK office and in Spain to give you a service second to none. As Alberto said, we have heard many excellent stories of the service that manufacturers, or some manufacturers at least, give for UK dealers. We will really try to develop this with you to a fine art. Obviously, we're only human. Mistakes and accidents can happen, but no effort will be spared to develop the level of business that we can do together, not only in the coming season, but in the years ahead. And really we have to hope that when you've seen the range, because that's what it's all about after lunch, the main business of the day, you will be able to feel confident that the dresses you're going to be stocking are really going to be in demand. Well, it's 12 o'clock. We've really finished the morning programme, so we're a little bit ahead of time. I don't know, perhaps Gay, you could just check and see if the bar is ready outside so that we can go through, and we'll invite you all to join us for drinks before lunch. We've allowed quite a long time so that you can meet with each other and sit and discuss things over lunch. And look forward to seeing you again after the break. Thank you.